Hello, guys. I hope you are doing well. How's everyone doing today? So we are in again in Abu Dhabi. As you can see, as always, I'm running to catch a flight. So today I was in Abu Dhabi, going to Lahore, and then coming back. If you are interested in getting to know what seats to choose on the plane, what are the best seats, and how can you get the best seats on the plane, how can you utilize your travel and use a lounge in Abu Dhabi and in Lahore, stay tuned in a video. We will discuss everything in this vlog. So I started from Abu Dhabi. If you're interested in using a lounge in this located in Terminal One, if you're carrying an Etihad Airways ticket, usually for business class, you can use Etihad is business class lounge. But if you have an economy class ticket, then you need to use your credit card. If some of the credit card that they come with is along with this great benefits, one of them I have is one of the local banks credit card which you can utilize, and you have a free access lounge to most of the lounges in the world. So I had a bit of food before I travel, had a cup of tea. I really had a short time left, but it was really enough time just to grab a bite and then move on to the flight. So usually the gates for Etihad Airways, they are located at Terminal 3, and the lounge itself is at Terminal 1. So it's quite a walk. If you're interested in going to the lounge, just make sure you have enough time. You're keeping like 15-20 minutes in between in order for you to catch a flight, because in order for you to get there you need at least 10 to 15 minutes from Terminal 1 to Terminal 3. The lounge is quite nice. They have showers. They have nice little spread of the buffet. It's not a huge selection. If you're drinking alcohol, there are a lot of selection of alcohol as well. They have this dedicated bar area, and on another side they have this buffet area for the food and everything. So yeah, it depends on what are your choices and what are your preferences. So I usually before the flight just grab a bite and then run over to the flight, so I don't have to eat anything on board. I usually prefer sleeping. So it was quick boarding. The plane was not really busy enough. So the trick I will tell you, usually you can always check in the last, and then whenever you are rushing for your flight, before you basically go for a boarding, you can ask the boarding counter if they have any free seats available. And usually if they have a free seats, they are very kind enough just to probably give you an alternative seats, or if you prefer having a families together, so you can have a seats together. Usually these are the emergency exits, and as one of them was assigned to me, there was no one around. The plane was not really busy, to be honest, as well. It was not a full flight, so there were plenty of seats empty, and a lot of options for you to choose from. Usually these are the paid seats. They are at emergency exits, and mind you, you cannot have any kids or any ladies with the obese or anything like who are disabled cannot be sitting on those emergency exits. So I arrive on the plane. I usually prefer sleeping. It was a night flight. I was tired and then slept throughout. And you see those seats basically are all empty, and they are quite roomy. So for me, I whenever I travel, I prefer having an aisle seat. Is basically depending on what kind of person you are. There are usually people who prefer having a window seats, who they can see look at the views, but on a night flight you really don't get to see anything. On an aisle seat, the thing is, like, you can always move around. You can just go if you want to rush to the washroom, or if you want to go anywhere, you have an easy access. One of the cool features in Etihad is this QR code. So they don't have a physical screens on the seats like a typical planes that you see all over the world. Here they are quite smart. They are utilizing all this QR code, which is a cloud video system. So you can scan with your mobile phone, and just you have all this entertainment system accessed on your mobile or whatever device that you have, either on your iPad or either on your mobile phone. But just be careful, if you are carrying you need to be carrying the spare headphones, because they don't have headphones on board. So it was very short, like about 3 hours of a flight time. We landed into Lahore. It was on time arrival. Etihad. One of the best thing about the airline is that it's always on time. Arrival into Lahore is pretty smooth. It was not busy, but of course there are other flights that are arriving at the same time, and the immigration counter usually get congested. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. I mean, usually there is a lot of rush at this part. Usually, when everyone is coming down from this escalator, people are even taking the stairs, rushing down. It's like there's no tomorrow. Anyway, everyone has to wait for the bag. So I don't know what people are rushing for, but yeah, that's how it is in Pakistan. And but the one thing I have noticed is when I'm traveling quite a lot is like, luckily no one is standing up after landing. Before, like let's say if we talk about like a year or two back, whenever the plane lands, and I could see that everyone is already on the aisle, and the plane is still on a taxiway. But this was quite a significant difference. In the recent years, people are getting much more patience, or much more aware about the traveling on the plane itself. So arrival into Lahore, I had to travel to my hometown, so I just grabbed a vehicle and then moved on to my city. The place is called Narwal, and I took this little con that reminded you of my childhood. I spent the time in my hometown, and this was again already like in a couple of days. It was time to come back, so I came back to Lahore. There was a lot of hype about this place, Tim Hortons. So I was like, okay, let's go try a coffee at this place. It was just okay, just a regular coffee, obviously, because it's a new chain in there, so everyone gets really excited about it. It's okay. They have a multiple choices of the coffees. It depends on what your choice. They usually specialties for them is a cold coffees with a lot of creams, frappuccinos, Spanish lattes, and all that. They have these sandwiches and also this cheese bar. Went for this dinner at the place. It's a newly opened place as well. Quite nice. The food was quite good. And then it was time to head to the airport. It was very crowded. It was also was like 2:30 in the morning, and there were a lot of flights that are departing at this time from Lahore. So it was my time to basically get onto the plane. It was still I still had the time. So again, if you are carrying a credit card, any of the bank, even in some of the Pakistani banks, they give you this access of this lounge and everything, so you can utilize those if you have those, either Mizan bank card. It's a worldwide credit card, and then give you an access to these lounges. So I still had an hour to board. As I arrived early, I went to the lounge again. Lounge, as usual, is not a lot of choices in Lahore. You just have some basic stuff, all the same sandwiches and same those cakes and everything. So there's not much of room or selection. But it's early in the morning. You really don't really want to have a big meal. But there are enough drinks, enough tea, coffee if you just wanna keep on get yourself hydrated. So just stay there for a while, and then it was time to board and time to come back to Abu Dhabi. It was a very short trip to Lahore. I hope you guys have watched the vlog, and then next time when you are flying with any other airline, you can just basically wait until you're boarding the last, and always ask the check-in counter if they have a better seats, or if they have any available empty seats around. So if the flight is not full, they are usually very accommodating, and try choosing the seat for your preference even ahead of time. Not a lot of people they know you can choose your seat from your app itself. If you're flying with Etihad Airways, they have their own dedicated app and the website where you can go and choose your seat online. So go for it, give it a try, utilize your travel benefits at the max that you can. And it was time to go back to Abu Dhabi. Arriving into Abu Dhabi is pretty much on time as well. The flight was quite nice and smooth. Again, it was a night flight, so I prefer pretty much sleeping throughout the flight, because you're tired usually the whole day of traveling from another city as well. So again, I had this same seat basically on an emergency exit, I mean, usually when the plane is empty, I usually prefer having these three seats. But emergency exit seats, usually the con is that you cannot lift your armrest, so you cannot really be sleeping on those three seats. Even though you have all three seats for yourself, but you cannot be really, like stretching your legs towards the other side. So yeah, it was a quick travel back to Abu Dhabi. Arriving into Abu Dhabi was just remote stand as usual. It's a small ATR, not an ATR, it's an Airbus 320, 321 planes. So they usually board and disembark from the buses itself. And that was all about. Thank you so much for watching. It was once again a very quick short turnaround. So take care of yourself until we meet next time with a new vlog. And take care. Allah Hafiz.